read an article that says that aspartame was the most contested FDA approval in history, and that scores of independent studies showed that it caused brain cancer in lab animals, and some doctors have linked it with a multitude of other symptoms, mostly neurological. I was actually drinking a Coke Zero as I read this, and I had to pause for a moment to decide which of three paths I should take given this new piece of information. Number 1, do I stop drinking zero-calorie soft drinks and nuzzle once again to the high-fructose corn syrup tit? Or number 2, do I give up drinking colas altogether? Or number 3, do I persist in drinking diet soda despite the possible risk of my head being taken over by a massive tumor named Billy, touting a shotgun at the front gate of my motor cortex and not letting any neurons transmit past him? I can't go with option 1. I'm on a diet, and an abundance of corn syrup or even pure cane sugar will fuck that up royally. I've lost 20 pounds since I began my commitment to losing weight. Why would I jeopardize that just for a few cans of soda? Option 2 is even more unlikely. Drinking carbonated beverages is what I do. I wake up and drink soda. Then I drink soda some more. Then I go back to bed. This is literally the entirety of my existence. Sure, I do some other stuff in between: porn, YouTube, sex, reading. Occasionally, I even do something productive, but I try to avoid that as much as possible. You do something productive once, and people start expecting you to be productive all the time. Option 3 is all that's left. I don't want a brain tumor, but maybe it'll be fun. I go to raise my left hand, and instead I punch a baby in the face. Then, as it lays bleeding, I can look its mother right in the eye and say, "I'm sorry, my tumor is really acting up today." Maybe sometimes I'll try to say thank you and it will come out, "Nip Tick Shabbat!" That would be neat. It would make communication difficult, but who is there honestly worth communicating with in this world anyway? I could even name my tumor. I'd call him Earl. Remember Toe Jam and Earl for the Sega Genesis back in 1991? Earl looks like how I imagine a brain tumor looking. A big, beige, friendly ball of stupidity, eating a hot dog. Me and Earl could go on some magical adventures together. Like, we could forget how to tie our shoes, or be subject to violent mood swings. Even better is when you can't remember the names of people you've known your whole life. "Earl, where'd you put my memories of my family and friends, you prankster? Lol." I actually do want a brain tumor. I wonder if anyone sells big cans of carbonated pure liquid aspartame. I'd drink it. Soda isn't nearly sweet enough anyway. That shit would pretty much guarantee a tumor. I'm gonna see if the doctor can go in and surgically put sunglasses on my tumor. That would rock. I want a cool tumor, you know? I bet tumors are going to be the next big thing in Hollywood. Right now, heiresses are all carrying around little chihuahuas in their handbag, but I bet that brain tumors are going to be in vogue in a few years. Everyone will be trying to have the biggest and most uniquely shaped brain tumor. I bet George Clooney will have one shaped like Popeye. I don't know why, but I really peg him as a Popeye fan. I never understood the concept of Popeye, though. Two big, powerful sailors fighting over the most flat-chested and homely girl in all of existence. I mean, if Popeye and Bluto are gonna beat the shit out of each other over a girl, she should at least have some curves. If you guys are gonna fight over her, why don't you just go to a janitor's closet and fuck a mop? Maybe it would make sense if she was desirable in some other way, like she had a great personality or was rich. But that's not the case. She has a shrill voice, is totally fickle about who she wants to be with, and doesn't appear to come from a rich family. Who fights over that? I mean, Popeye is deformed a little bit. Maybe he has no choice. But Bluto is a perfectly good-looking guy in that rugged sort of way. He should get him a nice little woman who knows how to cook. Not anything too fancy, maybe a 5 or a 6. Something he can reasonably be expected to hold on to. You know what I think is really going on here? And I know that it's really popular these days to claim that iconic characters are gay, but in this case it actually makes a lot of sense. I think that Popeye and Bluto are repressed homosexuals whose true affections are for one another, and that their unspoken desires manifest as quarrels over a clearly undesirable woman. They don't know how to express their raw sexual need for one another, and they live in an age where such affections are taboo to the highest degree, and so the only way that they can continue to be around each other, to touch each other, is by feigning a romantic rivalry for the hand of a woman that no heterosexual male could ever want to be romantically entangled with. When Popeye beats up Bluto, it's because he needs an excuse to touch Bluto. Anything to connect. When at the end of the day he shares his bed with Olive Oyl, it makes him sick. He knows that his true love is out there, sleeping alone. This is the tragedy of Popeye. You know, maybe I already have a brain tumor.